Hi guys, I live in America with my husband, and at this moment we have 3 kids. Before we have these 3 kids, I met my husband through connection marriage. Somebody I know had that one of her friends' cousin was coming back from America and he's coming to look for a wife because his white woman divorced him. I saw it as an opportunity because I was looking good. I was attractive to men, and I thought this man, immediately he see me, he might want to marry me. I thought I stand the chance. On getting there, I saw the hesitation in the man approaching me because I used to look very, sometimes I say I am fire. This is how I used to see myself. Then the man gave me his number and asked me to call him. I didn't want the man to know that I was already too wide and meeting men and living a kind of class of life. Like I was in a class that the man can buy me cars, rent me apartments. I've been through some things that I wouldn't want the man to know because now I want to settle down for marriage. Concerning marriage, I've been thinking by now I should have gotten married at this age of 25. I thought even I would be earlier in marriage than I suppose, but it happens that because of my waywardness, people hear a lot of rumors about me and they refuse to marry me. This is why it took me time to get married. When I find out that it's already too late for me, I started to look for a way to make amends. But because of this kind of life I've exposed myself into, it made it so difficult for me to sit at home at night without going to club, drinking, smoking, hanging around guys and girls. That kind of party life that I was used to was so difficult for me to stop. To cut this long story a little bit short, I started with this man. He called and I pretended to be innocent, pretended not to know many things that I knew. When this man bring any suggestion or want to discuss things with me that shows that I am enlightened, that I've met up with some kinds that I know what's on, I will pretend to be primitive. But how long can I hide into this pretense? And how long will I live in it like this? I associated with this man. How long it took until he went back to America. Then my bride price, everything has been concluded, the wedding, everything, because he had no time to come back here and start arranging these things again. So everything was done so fast without him knowing much about me. And I even begged some of my friends to please keep quiet. When this is all over, I will do them a huge favor, like connecting them to other guys, not knowing that it's not so easy like this. When you get here, trying to make somebody marry somebody is not really how I thought it should be. After 2 years, my paper document completed and I came here to join my husband in America. During those years I was at home, the marriage went so well. He was sending me money, a lot of money. What I see now as something that when you bring $4, $50 and change it, it turns to a huge sum of money in Nigeria. When I joined him here, my imaginations of how he should be living, because there at home he has big house, he has 2 cars, he was living in this class, my dream man, the kind of life I want to live. He's not really the kind of man I expect him to be, but he meets up with those things, because if you put some things at home that will cover up for that kind of class of life, it blinds my eye not to see some other things I would have seen in him. When I got to America, I met this man picking me from the airport. I'm asking myself, is this the man who I'm married to, or is it another person who came to pick me at the airport? Because this look now is not matching at all. I was pissed off. I thought I was dreaming. I wanted someone to wake me up from where I've landed myself because of too much what I want because of living in that class I put myself, this wanting too much and wanting to be the best in everything, mostly when it concerns money. I have this longer throat. I want to have the best things, and that's where my longer throat and quest, my ambitiousness has landed me. When we got home, I was still in this expectation of seeing one chilled place, one expensive home I will walk into. Even I was even thinking he is living in a house. On getting here, he was living in a two rooms apartment in a environment that is not so fancy like the kind of hotels I've been to. Why am I marrying somebody who is in abroad when the person is not living in this kind of impression the person has given me? This disturbs me so much. I've been fooled, I've been tricked. I look at his pots, his utensils, everything in his house, everything looks like what my father should be using at home. I got so disappointed. I didn't know what to do. So we started this thing with, the relationship started how I never expected it to be because I was angry. I couldn't discuss with him what my problem is. He kept asking me, how do I tell him that I came here for the money? I married you for the money. I didn't like you at all. You are not my kind of man. You are all those Americana the man was playing for me just went out. I was angry and disappointed in myself. And I couldn't even call anybody to tell the person what is happening on that moment because I didn't want the news to be out there for people to laugh at me. So I kept this to myself. I managed. And the worst of it all is that when you start eating, you go out those nights, hang out with games, you eating kobe to isiegu to point and kill, many things you eat and the environment you find yourself, and you finish the next morning, you come home, or when you're going home, you go with a huge sum of money. But now, here I am, that's even that kind of food I was used to. He seems like the person who doesn't want to bring out money to eat this food. How am I going to continue like this? I ask myself, because every time I keep feeling like eating dry meat, eating that, eating dry fish, many things, drinking, smoking at times, wine. I miss it all. I like drinking all this Jack Daniels, Hennessy, all these drinks. I was like addicted to this kind of a thing because I was getting them every evening when we go out. Even some days we buy it on our own and hang out with guests. I didn't get any one of this. I'm not a very educated person because I'm not bright, I'm not good in school, but I tried to cover up when I had everybody's going to school. One of the girls linked me up on how I can talk with the lecturers, even if I don't attend school. Just settling the lecturers, I could get my education fees. So I did this. So it was like I never went to school. Sometimes I went to school, I was just there going to show off my clothes. I know at the end of it, I'm going to get my passes. Then every time I would discuss with any kind of settlement he wants, I settled him and I got my qualification. On getting here, I didn't even want to talk about the qualification because I'm at first where I don't want to be, and the time is ticking. I'm getting older and older. Even at that, I'm not happy. The reasons why I married this man, I'm not getting like good life, good clothes, good environment, living in the best place, having cash every time. It's like I'm better off in Africa than here. So I regretted why I decided to marry someone abroad, because at home he was sending me money when I go out with him, he was making my bride price. So he was just giving me money and I was spending it. There was cash, this happiness when women go to shopping, and I was enjoying my life. So why should I be here and I'm not having that kind of life? I think when I get here to is even going to be better. I suggested to him, he sent me home. He said no. He asked me before if I wanted to stay here or there, that it doesn't go that way because living at home will be more expensive for him than me living here. So he will prefer to have me here. Every day was quarrel, each day misunderstanding. Even the way he reasoned is so awkward. I would have better married somebody who is close to my age, or at least 6-7 years older than me, not somebody who is almost 15 years older than me, because of money, because of the kind of house the man have, because of his show off, that convinced me and deceived me into coming to this America and see where I've landed myself in. After some years, in my thoughts then, I was saying, oh, glory to God, I have not started having kids. I could go home and find a solution to this. Either stay there or find a way to have a happier life, marry the kind of person I want to marry, someone who will be attracted to me, or somebody I'll be attracted to. I went home. On getting home, I went to see my boyfriend that time, who we had a very good relationship with. And he was so happy to see me. I try on the way to, a kind of joke like, how is your wife? How is your children? Because sometimes people can hide their relationship without telling you. He swore to me he has no girlfriend, he has no wife. And he started pretending to me the same pretend I pretended to this man when he came home to marry me. He started doing like all innocent. Every evening he will call me on the phone that he's going to church now for church meetings. He's going to choir, he's going to youth. Even I can remember I attended that church 1 or 2 times with him, how everybody was saying, brother, brother. I was so happy that he has been the same person he is. Even he has turned to be better person than before. In this process, I noticed that every time he's trying to ask me what kind of house we live in, what kind of car my husband is driving, what kind of lifestyle we have, and I will every time shift this story or dodge this story without answering this stories, because this story is trying to assess me before him, and such is not what I expect from him. I wanted him to show me care, I wanted to love, I wanted to have attention. I don't want anyone to trick me into something I will regret. But all this affection I'm having with this guy now, my husband know nothing about it. He thought I went home, he never knew I have a plan B. Few weeks later, as I was about to go back to America where I'm living, thanks to God that I never told this guy I came here to meet my plans of wanting to marry him or take him to America. I only came to see him like someone who I know before. Okay, let's hang out. And I took that time to hang out with him, to know much about him, if I'm making mistake or not, which is so bad of me. And I'm sorry and I apologize that I have to be in my marriage and I tried to look for something else. But I was so unhappy. I was so unsure of that marriage. I wanted to change it in order to be more happier. The uncomfortability of looking at my husband, his age, his style, the way he do things and the way he talk, was the way he eat, the way he does everything was too odd for me. I wanted to turn my life around and be happy again. And at that moment, telling him that it was over, that I don't want again, that I want to start a new life, was not really a problem for me. I thought it would be the best for everyone. Even him, me staying there was just fooling him. I confronted my young friend at home in Africa and asked him how he would see his future like in 5 years. So he started telling me his plans, which is not necessary to say now, but I didn't find myself inside the plan. I got angry. So I went to meet a neighbor, a kind of 3D neighbor, very right, and then find him some money, even take him out and promise that I will help him if he can give me vital information about this, my friend. That was when I was told that sometimes when I'm not there, that his main girlfriend will come. The main one he planned to marry, and he begged this girl to go away because I was coming, because he was looking for a way to bring the girl to abroad if I could be able to take him there. I was so disappointed how he wanted to know if my paper was completed. In short, he engaged himself in asking me about my documents, about how much money I have, what kind of car, what kind of house are we living, do I have any pictures to show him on the phone. He paid more attention to those things than paying attention to me. And this I didn't like. This made whatever I was feeling for him disappear because I saw that gold digging kind of character in him. I made sure I kept in contact with my husband, though I betrayed him, betrayed our relationship by seeing someone else and not him. When the time was up, I wanted to leave. So on this day, I confronted this guy again and asked him, now, can you tell me the truth about what was going on? And I told him, if you don't tell me the truth, and I later find out the truth, that I was not going to forgive him and I was not going to take it easy. That was when he opened up and told me he has a son, which he didn't tell me before. Told me he had this girl, he's training the girl in school and he has been training his family. The relationship is so tight that there's no way he will leave the girl. And if he has to leave this girl for me or anything, that he has to pay the girl, like settle her a huge sum of money to make sure that she has a very comfortable life because he loved the girl so much. I got so disappointed and he asked me what I have to say. I told him I had nothing to say and I walked away. He begged me, asked me to wait. I walked away and I left. That was when it occurred to me how useful what I had was. After all, what I had, the man I have at this moment wouldn't have betrayed me. He's not cheating on me. This man devoted his time, his life, his energy to go to work every day to make sure we pay our bill. He's taking care of me. The only problem I had was that this man is not what I wanted. He's not the kind of man for me. I would prefer bad boys. I prefer boys who dress nice, who look attractive, and who will take me to parties, go around, hang around, and go to dinners. That kind of lifestyle. That was what this man was not giving me. So when I came back, I have to confront my husband with the kind of lifestyle I want. But it was not easy for me to tell him what I have done. I live with this guilt every day, and I cry most times when I see the kind of appreciation the man shows me for being his wife, for being dedicated to him now, for taking care of our kids and other things, and how we struggle to make our relationship better each day, giving all his efforts, no matter how old he is, to satisfy my wants, like to supply me my needs and other things. I regretted. This is why I came to you. Do I tell my husband what I did when I went to Africa? Or do I keep it to myself and let it die? Because I know my husband, he's not the type that cheats. If I open my mouth and tell him this thing, this marriage is finished. This relationship is finished. So how do I go now after how many kids to start looking for another relationship? To tell you the honest truth, I had a sweat time. This marriage was working after I told him, let's do it like this. This is what I want, this one. He did everything as an elderly man to please me, the young girl he married. And now I've ruined my marriage by going home to have this affair with this guy. And because I wanted a better life than the life I was having here, not knowing that I'll be betrayed by lies and for what he wants, just like I did to my husband. I don't know what to do. This story is somehow funny because when we are here in a place, we think every time that the other place is better. In marriage, we can't have it all. It's either you get the tall guy who is ugly or you get the tall guy who is handsome. And if you get the tall guy who is handsome and at the same time rich, then there's either you're missing emotionally or you're missing play-wise. He can't play with you, or he's not tolerant, he's not understanding. Something must be missing in marriage. Marriage is not complete. This is why we have to be very careful who we meet and who we are making plans with. There are some people who look all this what we want. At the end of it, they'll be beating us. They can be woman beater. So I'll bring this case to you guys to tell you guys what this our sister is going through. Please, if there's any opinion you have, advice, please drop on the comment section. Let's see how to help our sister. And I will add one more thing. It's good when you have somebody who you have married to. It doesn't matter what you like and what you do not like. The most important thing, just like you have done, my sister, during this marriage, to come back and realize your mistake and now tell the man, this is what you like, this is not what you like. This is a relationship which you people have not started any relationship from home. You don't know him. He's not somebody you're cutting, you're having a relationship with before the marriage. There's no way this marriage would work without communication. So it's started working because people have communicated about, this is what I like, this is not what I like, this is how I want to be done, this is. When you people table this in and arrange it, then it will work out. Everything is programmed. But when you don't talk about this and say, the person is a magician, he will just somehow look at you and know what is better for you. He will know this thing will make you angry and know this will make you happy. It will be difficult. So it's always good to keep this communication of, I don't like it like this, I would like it like this. And also try to understand this person. Try to put yourself in this person's shoes and treat the person exactly that way. You know that when you do this thing, it's making the person happy. This will help us in the relationship. So, guys, about the secret you are keeping, this one is too much. I don't know how I'm going to go about this. I don't know what to advise on this one, because you know who your husband is. But instead of you to live with this guilt for a long time and it's disturbing you and keeping it, you better come up with it and tell the man. I would say, tell him your mind. If it's somebody who have understanding, who know that you were ignorant of what you were doing, or you did this because you were young, or any reason, he will find to forgive you. Why he will take it like that and see that you have made amends, the person will forgive, because it's also not easy for you to live with this for so long. It's also not good on his side to know that you did something like this and you kept it away, because if he do the same thing with you, that he married you and he leave you and go to another person, you're not going to like it at all if he kept it to himself or he told you. So in marriage, a lot of things will happen in marriage. You better come up with it, because one day you also make a mistake. If this mistake is not about cheating you, it can be about another thing. So the more open you come with it, maybe it will be easier for you to live with, because this is the mistake you made inside the marriage. This one is so huge. It's not something you can keep. So this is all I can say for now, how we can share our opinion in this story and see how we can learn from our mistakes. Thank you so much, guys, for being with me today in this story, and thank you for your support. Thanks for subscribing to my channel and watching my video, and I expect to see you next time. It will make me so happy to have you guys here again. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Your girl, Cynthia. This is my love story.